Thank you for listening to the BJJ Brick Podcast. We'll be bringing you Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and good times. We hope to flatten your Jiu-Jitsu learning curve, help you get the most out of your grappling ability, and meet your goals both on and off the mat.
Welcome back, my friends, to episode 99 of the BJJ Brick Podcast. 99 means we're one episode away from the historic 100th episode. So that's kind of cool. I'm Gary. I'm here with Byron as usual. How are you doing today, Byron?
Gary, I'm doing great. Happy to be here. 99th time.
99th, yep.
So,
yep. And, man, we got a great show today. We've got an interview with Black Belt Alexander Trans. He's out in Dubai. So that's going to be a cool interview. We're going to learn a lot from him. As usual, we've got our article of the week and the quote of the week. And then, and we got Byron here. I mean, what else can you ask for? Byron, what have you been up to lately? Anything cool going on?
I just got back from a little trip.
Little trip? Where'd you go? Like the other side of Kansas or maybe down to Oklahoma?
I went to with my wife to visit some family in a country called Burma, or Myanmar. It has two names, I guess. And
Burma?
Also went to Thailand.
Can't beat that.
So it was an experience, and I actually got to train while I was there in Burma.
Oh, that's neat. How was it training there?
It was good. I think maybe we got a couple new listeners over there, and had a lot of fun. And they're a tough group, and they have it's one of those groups you tell they're having a blast. You know, everybody there was having a good time, and they were very welcoming, and I'm glad I got to train with those guys.
Oh, that's cool to hear. And that's what we always talk about. You go on vacation, like we always say here, if you happen to come through Kansas, holler at us, train with us. But you go on vacation, you try to find a place to train, and you meet some new friends, and you learn some new stuff. So that's really neat. It sounds like you had a great time. Also, I did a presentation about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to a group of about 200 students. 200, like... High school students, elementary students?
Elementary students. I think it was like they didn't have like the real little kids, and I think it was like maybe kindergarten or first grade on up to maybe 8th, and they all interesting. They all do taekwondo as exercise at school every day, so they all know what that is. But we were able to do a little jiu-jitsu stuff, and I taught them a throw, and I had a couple of students throw me, and it was kind of fun.
Hey, wouldn't that be neat? Like if United States, we all did Brazilian jiu-jitsu in gym or wrestling, or that'd be kind of neat.
It's kind of funny you mention that because that's what Alexander's doing in Abu Dhabi. They do jiu-jitsu, but the thing about it is they have to do it. So a lot of them don't have the passion for it that you would if you did it as something that you actually wanted to do. So it's he expresses some of his feelings about that and how it's kind of hard to get some of the students to train and what it's like. But and then compared to like a regular class where everybody's excited to be there and you're training with a world class athlete like him, that's amazing. And so
that's crazy. Like you said, everybody in a regular class is happy to be there. They're paying monthly dues, and you've got free classes in your school, and you're not happy to be there as much. But, I guess everybody likes different stuff, so I can totally understand that. Somebody, jiu-jitsu may not be for them.
It's good to expose it.
It's always good just to open your horizons, try different stuff, and see if you like it or if you don't.
That's right. You got to get exposed to different things and see what's good for you.
Yep. But yeah, so we've got a great show on hand today, and basically, if you never want to miss a show, which hopefully you don't want to, definitely get on our email list. If you get on our email list, it's right there on our Facebook page. We'll have a link to it. We'll actually have a link to it on the show notes here. But basically, you just give us your email. On Tuesdays, we'll send you out a link to the show there, so you won't miss it. And you also get every now and then you get a free audio clip. Sometimes a chapter from Byron's audiobook. So definitely get on the email list. That way you'll never miss an episode.
Yep, and that's it sends it automatically, so it's easy for us to do as well. So if you want to give us a little hand here and support the podcast, or if you're new to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and you want a little more information about what you should be doing and maybe some pitfalls to avoid, we do have an audiobook that's available for $11.99. There'll also be a link to that on the website there. It's just about 2.5 hours, and kind of me just walking you through what to expect and what's going to happen your first year, and kind of help you through some of the difficult times that you may see, and hopefully make it your ride a little more smooth.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we actually had a review from one of our listeners who talk about that. He bought the audiobook Byron wrote, and it's a great listen. Those are exact words. So he said he started jiu-jitsu over 1 month ago, and so it's helped him out. So definitely check it out. It's getting great reviews, a lot of good material in there to help you through your journey.
Well, Gary, I think it's time for our quote of the week here. We found one. We searched the internet for the best possible quote that was out there. Guess what we found?
You know, what did we find, Byron? What do we got this week?
A quote from President Calvin Coolidge.
He's our president?
He was.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about in the past here.
Oh, okay, because I thought it was Donald Trump.
So he said, nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent.
You have to be persistent in everything you do. I mean, how many times have you tried something? We were just talking about it's always good to try jiu-jitsu. You may have a lot of athletic talent. Right off the bat, jiu-jitsu is going to be tough. If something you really want it, you're going to keep going. You're going to be persistent. You're not going to stop. You're going to make sure you come to class as many times as possible. You're going to drill on the side. Study, to keep a journal, anything to get better. You're just going to be persistent. Keep coming and coming and coming.
I think, if you've done jiu-jitsu for a little while, you see somebody come in and they're pretty good to start with. They pick it up fairly naturally. They have that little bit of, I don't know if you want to call it talent, or they just pick it up a little easier than most. But,
their mileage thicker. Yeah,
but they don't stick with it, and that's the world's full of people who are talented that are unsuccessful because they don't have that persistence.
Yeah. Let's even take talent out of the equation. I just think the persistence is so dominant there. You think about somebody who came in to a jiu-jitsu class or, a practice or whatever, and you saw the person and they weren't very athletic, weren't very strong. You know what I mean? They just didn't move very efficiently. But they just kept at it. I mean, I've seen numerous people like that, and they didn't quit. They just kept coming, even if it's only twice a week, even if it's only once a week. They kept coming, and years down the road, they're total monsters on the mat now. They move smooth. They will shock you. They can get a very athletic person coming in the first time, and they're going to put a hurting on that person. They can put a hurting on them. Normally, they're such good people, they're not going to. But, it's just that persistence. Do not stop. You just keep going.
Yep, I think that's a trait that jiu-jitsu helps develop.
Yes, definitely. And that trait, we're talking about jiu-jitsu. It's your whole life. Everything you do. Everything. You think about me back in my underwater knife fighting classes. I was persistent. I didn't let the water. Sometimes the water's murky. Sometimes it's not. I went there every day.
And you didn't even know how to swim, if I could remember that correctly.
Yep. Well, I used floaties.
Yeah.
Yep. For underwater. Well, Byron, I think it's time for the article of the week.
All right. What do we have?
This week we have George Jitsu, my BJJ journey. How was that? George Jitsu. That's a pretty good title there. But it's basically talking about how to get the most out of your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. And basically, it goes on to start. Classes aren't cheap, especially for a university student. And normally when you're in school or you have a family or a job, you don't have a lot of free time. And a lot of times you can't train every single day. You might be lucky to train once or twice a week. So it's a great idea if somebody can guide you through maximizing your learning potential while in class. Get the most out of each time you're there, and I think it's a great article, and he writes down 5 ideas to get more out of your classes. And the first one he has is ask questions, and and that's a big thing. And I saw somebody put something on Facebook today, and it said the person who asks a question is a fool for a minute, but the person who doesn't ask a question is a fool for a lifetime. And basically, we're never going to know everything. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Never be afraid. Your instructor's going to want you to get better. Ask questions. That's the only way you're going to pick up little things that you might have missed. So don't be afraid to ask questions.
Number 2 on his list of things that will help you get the most out of your class is to write some things down. We hear this all the time from multiple top-level people. Keep a journal. It could be Evernote on your phone. It could be a pad of paper you have in your gym bag. Write things down. It really helps you, especially at the beginning. You're learning so many new techniques all the time. If you learn 3 techniques a night and you go 2 or 3 times a week, at the course of a month, that's a lot to remember. But just by the act of writing it down, you have to remember it to write it down. And then if you review it even just once, that's really 2 reviews, because you reviewed it as you wrote it down, and then you reviewed it as you read it, and that really helps get things into your head a little bit better.
Yep. And then number 3 there, practice techniques when live rolling. And remember, rolling isn't about winning or losing. It's not about how many times you can tap out your training partner. You want to practice the techniques, and specifically the techniques you were just taught. So, you went over some techniques in class. Try those. Try the techniques you've been taught, the previous, 3 weeks is kind of what George is saying there. But remember, try the techniques. Work on, perfecting those. Get better at it. Don't just treat live rolling as winning or losing. So practice your techniques when rolling.
I love that one. It always makes me remember things better if I can actually pull it off the day you learn it. Number 4 is stop, discuss, and continue. So especially when you're rolling with a more advanced student and something comes up, and maybe it happens twice. You get armbarred twice in the same roll. That's a good time to ask a question, like, what can I do differently? Or how are you doing that? Show me how, But it's not recommended that you use the discussion to get out of the submission or any of that kind of a thing. Go ahead and fight, hard and have a good roll. After you get tapped or after something happens, you could then ask a question. And vast majority of students are happy to share their knowledge.
Yep, yeah. Seems like everybody is always good about doing that. Number 5, I think this is a great one. Start where you're uncomfortable. Basically, especially if there's a gap between the guy you're training with, or you're just trying to get better at a position. Start where you're weak at. The author talks about, with arm bars. Maybe arm bars isn't my place. Start, with my opponent mounting me, forcing me to learn how to escape an arm bar, escape the mount. Get better at that part of your game. And basically, I love this part. Your goal is to learn, not to win. That's kind of what we were just talking about. And you think about when you're training, your goal is to learn, not win. You're going to keep learning. Every time you're out there training, you're going to learn, and then you're going to go to that competition, then you're going to win. You're going to learn too, but you're going to win. So definitely start where you're uncomfortable.
Yep. That kind of wraps up the article. There's obviously more to it than what we just did. We just covered the basic points there. I love his little tagline there, making the ground my paradise, one clumsy step at a time. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu beginner based in New South Wales, Australia. That's cool. I like the making the ground my paradise.
You think about how many clumsy steps we've all taken. And when you first started, you were a little more clumsier than you probably are now, but I tell you, every day I get out there, I'm clumsy. So we get a little bit better each week.
Nice article. We'll put a link to that in the show notes, and so you can find it and check out his website there. I think we're good to go. After the interview airs, stay tuned. We'll talk about the project we're doing for episode 100, and we'll have a few reviews to read that our listeners have been nice enough to write about us. So
yeah, we always appreciate all the reviews. Makes it worthwhile and helps us get better.
Absolutely. So here is Alexander Trans. He is the most interesting grappler in the world.
Every time he gets a submission, Subway gives away a free sub. He can get you a toe by 3 this afternoon with nail polish. He has lost more than 1 tooth teaching the kids class. His bucket list can be used as an actual bucket. It often holds ice, gauze, and Vaseline.
I don't always listen to podcasts, but when I do, I prefer the BJJ Brick podcast. Stay listening, my friends.
All right, my friends, I am happy to bring Alexander Trans to the BJJ Brick podcast. Alexander, thank you for giving us an interview today. We're excited to hear from you and hopefully learn from you and see what you're up to. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
If somebody hasn't heard of you yet, or they haven't been keeping up with the competition scene, could you kind of describe yourself and just kind of give us a little introduction about who you are and where you're from and what you're doing?
So my name is Alexander. I'm 26 and I'm from Denmark. And I've been training Jiu-Jitsu for 11 years now. I'm a world champion at purple belt, weight in absolute at brown. Won all the big tournaments at brown belt, weight in open class European, Pan. Won Nogi Worlds, Pan Nogi, Brazilian Nationals Nogi, and Brasileiro. And then at black, I'm a 3-time European champion, Pan American champion, Brazilian national champion, 2-time European champion in 80cc, and then I'm at the Worlds. I'm 2 times second place and 3 times third place, and 3 second places in the World Pro as well. So I compete a lot. I like to compete. Besides that, for the last 2 years I've been living here in Abu Dhabi, where I'm at currently, and that's pretty much it.
Wow, yeah, you're a busy guy. You're competing a lot against the top name competitors out there. You're definitely one of them. What are you doing there in Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, so here in Abu Dhabi, I've been here for the last almost 2 years, where I've been teaching in the public school. They have a jiu-jitsu project here. The name of the country is UAE, and then there's the capital is Abu Dhabi, and then there is Abu Dhabi, that many people probably know as well. And Abu Dhabi, of course, people know from the ADCC and from the World Pro. But down here, they have in the public schools, they have jiu-jitsu, and they also have it in the military jiu-jitsu program. So I think there are over 300 black belts here teaching, and I've been teaching for the last 2 years in the schools.
Are all of those black belts teaching like in the school system?
Some are. The majority is in this. No, I think the majority now is in the military actually, because they're expanding the project. But it's like they're I guess like 100 in the school and 200 military. But I could be wrong. But it's like divided. And
what age of kids are you teaching?
Oh, so I teach kids that are like between, I think 11, 15, and then there's some schools where they're a bit older. But like actually my job here has been more of like a school teacher, like trying to educate them than really teaching jiu-jitsu. You know, it's not really that advanced. It's pretty limited how much we can work techniques and stuff with them. So it's a different kind of job. It's like it's a challenge, but it's been interesting.
So when I hear you're teaching over there at a school, I pictured you have a room with mats, in a big mat space, and a bunch of kids on the mat. Is that so? Are you teaching in a classroom and then sometimes for mats, or how does that work?
No, it's a special jiu-jitsu room where there's a small office, and then me and my colleague, we have an office, and there's a lot of paperwork involved as well in the work. And then it's like a normal subject, so they have it once a week, each class, and then it's like a normal subject, less English or math or anything else.
So
and they get like notes, what's called marks as well. They get grades.
Do most of the kids enjoy the jiu-jitsu?
No. It's very difficult to make them train. There are a few. Then we have like 2 times a week. We have something called the after class that is for kids that want to train, because during the week it's more kind of like an introduction and a lot of games and stuff. And then they have other extracurricular programs that are like for the kids that want to compete and stuff. And it's like, then they can train every day. But in the school, it's just like 2 times a week for the kids that want to train and bring their gi and stuff. And then the rest is just more like an introduction, like a play.
And a lot of them are just kind of just going through the motions and not really trying that hard with it.
The majority doesn't even participate. They just leave the room, or if we like on the first school I was at, we had to keep them inside the room, and that was like really difficult because they pretty much break everything and fight and stuff. But then in the school that I was at now, we only got the ones that actually trained. So the other ones, they went out with a physical education teacher and played ball, and then we had, but a lot of times it's like maybe if there are like 25, 30 kids, then we have 2 that actually want to participate. So it's difficult.
I can't believe the opportunity that the kids have, train with a world champion, as a child, and it seems like if a kid does want to get good at jiu-jitsu, going to a school like that would be a great opportunity for the child.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been unlucky as well with the schools I've been to, but there are some schools where the kids train more and stuff. There are some kids that like to train and compete and stuff. But that's one of the reasons as well that I'm moving now, that I'm leaving, because it's my passion is competing, training, but also I love teaching, but I like teaching people who want to learn. I don't like fighting with the kids, trying to make them like arguing, trying to make them do jiu-jitsu. I'm like, if they don't want to train, then let them do something else. You shouldn't force it. You should motivate them and try to make them do it, but you can't force it down their throat. Then they're just gonna hate it even more. So that's been like. I got used to it, but it's a bit frustrating sometimes to not really see your work going anywhere. There's no evolution in the work. It's just like going through the motions, and so that's one of the reasons that I'm gonna leave.
That's one of the benefits to teaching, I guess, outside of a school system, is that people who are at the class want to be there and they really enjoy it, and I think that they're easier to teach. So, talking about leaving, just for everybody who's listening. Today is July 30th. This interview won't air till early September, so just kind of a help with the time frames there. When are you heading out of the country?
In about a month, I'm gonna do a surgery on my knee that I hurt my knee at the Worlds, so I'm gonna have to do a ACL reconstruction and also a meniscus. They're going to fix my meniscus as well. And then I'll have to stay here for a month, and then I'm leaving. So I'll be leaving in early September. And then I'll stay in Denmark, and I'll be doing my rehab in Denmark. And I'll be giving a few seminars. And then when I'm ready to start training again, I'm going to move to Brazil.
Wow, that sounds like a great plan, and definitely wish you luck on your rehab on your leg there, on your knee. You were doing so great at Worlds this year, and then you Did you hurt your knee in a match with Kavaka? Was that it?
Yeah. I was feeling great in the other fights. I had 3 fights in the absolute, and I made it to the final. And then I had another fight in my weight class on Saturday as well. And then my first fight on Sunday, I hurt my knee. This knee, I already heard it. I had a partial ACL tear back in 2008, but I haven't been having problems with it. I heard it again in 2011, but I was fine. But then in December last year, I popped it pretty bad, and it became loose. And I started training like pretty fast after I think 1 or 2 weeks, and I didn't get an MRI because I was like I wasn't gonna do the surgery anyway, like just before the season. And but I was like treating actually this knee. I was treating it through the whole season this year. But then at Worlds, I wasn't feeling anything. Then I remember like Saturday night, I was feeling a bit sore on my knee, on my right knee. But I was like, no, I don't think it's anything too serious. It was just like the ligament felt like on the side was a bit sore. And then in my first fight against Kavaka on Sunday, he right when he put me in 50-50, and it wasn't a knee bar or footlock or anything. It happened right in the first seconds. When he span to put me in 50-50, my knee just popped, like really. It was like a big pop inside the, and it became. I felt it right away. It became completely loose, and then I got stuck in 50-50, and every time he would try to balance me to the side, I could feel my knee going out of place. So you can see on the video, I put my hand on the side of my knee because my knee kept going out of place, and like it was really, really, really painful. Like even with the adrenaline, I was sweating like cold, you know, like I was almost freezing, like because of the pain. And the only thing I could think about was like, how am I gonna like win the fight, and how am I gonna fight? How am I gonna continue after? I was like in the final of the absolute. That's like was a dream for me to not only fight but to win, try to win as well, of course. And then that happens like not even like a submission hold or anything, but just like a stupid situation that normally wouldn't happen, and my knee just explodes. But then I managed to win the fight. And I went right when I went out. I was still hot. I could still walk. But then and I told the doctors to just tape it up as hard as he could. But then I couldn't flex my knee at all. So I couldn't when I tried to put my shoes on. I kept falling, and I couldn't like. So there was no way that I could continue, you know. So I had to stop.
Wow, that I feel sorry for you. I know you worked very hard to get there, and you made it to the finals in the absolute, which is a phenomenal accomplishment. And you beat a lot of tough guys getting there, and then to just have an accident, not even a submission, just an accident, and you're still able to win that match. That's amazing. And it sounds like you were going through your body was going through some shock. You know, the way you describe how you were feeling. It's amazing that you're able to hang in there and actually win that. I don't know I don't know how that happened, but that's amazing. And then of course you're not going to be able to compete at Abu Dhabi this summer, and everyone was looking forward to seeing you there. But it sounds like your jiu-jitsu is at a level right now where you're ready for next time. It sounds like as soon as you get your knee ready, and everyone's excited to see you back on the mat as soon as you get healthy.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm really sad that it happened right now, because of course there's never a good time for it to happen. But it's like I'm right in a point in my life where right now I had made the decision that I wanted to leave Abu Dhabi and try to focus 100% on my career as a competitor. So I already had plans of moving to Brazil, and there was a lot of things happening right now. Like also now I just signed a contract with Copa Porto, and I'm going to be fighting in their events now. But hopefully I'll be ready for for the season next year. I'm gonna try to be ready for World Pro, if not that, then Copa Poggio in May, and then the Worlds next year. But let's see. I'm gonna have to respect it. Like it's a serious injury, a serious surgery. So I'm gonna have to listen to my body and have to wait and see how it goes. But I'm hoping for the best. So.
Yeah, and I am too, and I know everybody else is, and I'm glad to hear that you're going to be smart about getting your knee better, and you're still very young and doing so good on the competition scene. You fight. You have a lot of matches, and you get a lot of times. It seems like you're competing against the same people multiple times, even within a year. You know,
yeah.
So. From that perspective, when you're training, are you focused more on how to make your jiu-jitsu better, or are you trying to think about what they're going to do and counter that? How are you training for these people?
Actually, I'm training more for just training to get myself better. But then of course, always when I have a fight and I see after I watch the tapes and see what mistakes I made, and then I try to focus on that, on correcting that, watching my general mistakes and like specific mistakes as well. But like actually, while I've been living here in Abu Dhabi as well, the part like of doing strategy, which is important as well. But that's one of the things that I just haven't had time to as well, because my job here has been really demanding, and it is. I work like here the weekend is Friday, Saturday, so Sunday to Thursday I've been working like 7 or more plus hours a day. Then there's like meetings a lot of times after work. Sometimes we have to work the whole day in the weekend to go take the kids to a championship or something. But still, I've been doing like six jiu-jitsu trainings and 6 physical preparations per week, which is less than I used to do. But the quality of the training has been good. Like there are a lot of tough guys here and good training partners. But like. I don't have that much. It's like a general training. It's not like it's still not a specific competition training. So it's been really difficult, like to keep up with the other guys, like that are training 2-3 times a day. I think I did evolve in my game the time I've been here, but I'm really happy to now be able to focus 100% on my career. Because to compete at the top level today, it's while working a full-time job, then it's like really difficult. If I had been teaching at an academy where then I could probably train with my students and do drilling and probably sparring as well and stuff. But here it's just work. It's kind of like a job outside of jiu-jitsu almost, you know. So it's been difficult.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you're teaching math classes and language courses and a little bit of jiu-jitsu to children, and you end up, in the finals of the Absolute at Worlds. That's phenomenal. I could tell your partners there that you do get to train with are really good. But once you move to Brazil and really pick it up there, it's going to be really interesting to watch you progress even more. Where in Brazil do you plan to end up?
So right now my plans are to go to Rio, but I'm still looking into it. But it's I'll probably be going to Rio.
Well, that sounds good. You can't beat that for quality training partners, and you could train as much as you want, compared to what you're able to do now and with the limited training.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you train differently for a no-gi, or do you put the gi away when it's time to get ready for a no-gi competition?
Like I again here I haven't had the chance to really decide about my own training. So sometimes, like for example, last year I was gonna do the European Championship for ADCC, the trials, and like the other guys were doing some more gi, so I ended up doing more gi than no gi. But usually I like to take the gi off, like and maybe do a few gi training still, but not necessarily. Like I'd prefer to just take it completely off at least a month before, maybe like 2 months, because it's just different. It's like they both help each other, but I spent the whole year training just in the gi. So I think it's good when I have a competition that I focus solely on the no-gi. And I feel it also when I start training, and I like training no-gi, but always like the first couple of trainings, I'm like kind of confused because it's a different way to play guard. It's a different way to pass, and it's just a different game. So I like to take it off.
That sounds good, and it's working for you. I know you do a lot of knee bars, toe holds, leg attacks. What is it about those that you found? Why are they so successful for you?
I don't know. I think it's just a lot of times I get them when I'm playing guard usually, and when I'm trying to sweep, and then people forget about their legs, and I attack the leg. It's not. I don't feel like it's. I'm like a specialist, and that I'm not like the kind of guy to just. If I'm on top, I'm not gonna drop back for a leg lock or anything like that. It's like it's just. I think it's just a part of my game, and maybe some people neglect it a bit and don't train it as much. But in my training, I don't focus more on it than on other submissions. It does happen a lot. In competition, so yeah, but I try to. I think it's a good way to work your guard. You switch between attacking the sweep and the submission to have more options. So yeah,
that keeps the opponent trying to guess what you're trying to do, or if they defend the sweep well, sometimes they're open for the submission, maybe.
Exactly. It happens a lot. Like I'm going for the sweep, and then they open up for the leg lock or foot lock, and sometimes the other way around as well. I attack the foot lock or leg lock, and then they open up for the sweep. And I also use it while passing the over-under pass. I like the inverted knee bar from there as well, for the same reason, like to keep, just to have more options.
I always try that one, but I'm missing, I know, at least a little bit of a detail to be able to get that inverted knee bar. But I see it done, and I know it's there, but I just can't quite pull it off myself. But that's there.
To get the angle right.
Yeah, I think that's probably my mistake. How long ago did you get your black belt?
I got it in 2011. So I'm going on it's going to be my 4th year.
How has the transition been from, you won major tournaments at Purple and Brown. How was that? Can you remember like the first year competing at black belt, what that was like for you?
Yeah, it was like, there was a big difference, you know. The level is really different. Like at Brown, I didn't lose while competing as a brown belt. I fought the 80cc as a brown belt where I fought Verdun, and I won on 2 minus. No, I lost. Sorry, I lost on 2 minus points back in 2011. But besides that, like fighting in the gi, I didn't lose as a brown belt, and I competed all the major tournaments. But then my first competition as a black belt was the European in 2012, and I won. But the level was just completely different. Like there was no space for mistakes, and I had to change my game as well, because like before I used to just play like a half guard. I would just close my legs around my opponent's legs and just try to work my way in, even let them hug my head sometimes. And I just saw that in black belt. That's if you do that with some guys, then you're just not gonna get under them. you're gonna get past. So yeah, I had to. It's very different. A lot of times you see the guys coming up that won worlds at Brown, and you see them doing well because they keep evolving, and they have the experience from competing a lot, but the level is just, it's way different from brown to black, I think.
Yeah, it's impressive to see, and it's always fun to watch the brown belts make that step up and adapt their game. What do you do before you compete? Like the minutes up until you're on the mat, are you warming up? Are you trying to relax, or what do you do to get yourself ready for the match?
So when I'm competing now, one thing that I learned to really be conscious about is what I eat during the day. Like before, I would get really nervous and I wouldn't eat that much. I would eat it in the morning a bit, and then I wouldn't eat. I would stay the whole day without eating. But then sometimes I would get I would eat 9 o'clock in the morning, and I would be fighting at 5 still without having eating, And I think maybe because I'm a big guy as well, but I also have my blood sugar is pretty. If I don't eat, I get dizzy and I don't feel well. So now I'm just being very conscious about trying to get. I like those gels and energy gels and bananas and just a little bit during the day to keep the energy up. For the mental aspect, I just try to relax. Before I would just sit in the hotel room the last few days before the competitions, but now I already watch a lot of video. I know all the guys I'm fighting. I watch a bit, just to keep my head. And of course I think all the time. I think about strategies and stuff, but I like to also think about something else. Go out and just walk around and try to think about something else. Talk about something else, because it's not like I'm. In the day before, I'm gonna forget everything about jiu-jitsu. It's gonna be automatic anyway when I'm gonna fight. So there's no reason to overthink it. So that's one way that I learned to deal with the nerves and stuff. I still get nerves. I still get really nervous, but it's been a lot better. And then on the day, I eat the breakfast and I go to the venue. I like to go maybe 2 hours before. And then about an hour and a half before, I'll put on my gi, and then I think usually 30 minutes before, I'll do a warm up, the same routine that I always do. Just some stretching, just moving the body, swinging arms and hips and everything, and then just get a sweater on and just feel that. Not exhausted, but just break the first, when you get a bit sore in the throat, do a few sprints, so you just do some jumping jacks, so just get your pulse up, so you don't get, because if not, you're gonna get that shock, and you always get that in the first match, I think, anyway, you get that shock, you go out of the fight, sometimes if it was a hard fight, and you think, how am I'm going to do the next one, but then the next one you fight better and better. So that's pretty much it. I try to keep calm and focused. And usually after I have done my warm-up, or during my warm-up, or when I have my gi on, then I'm relaxed. I'm nervous the night before. In the morning I'm really nervous. But then when I get my gi on, then I'm relaxed.
You said in describing your routine that you warm up like you always do, the same set of warm-ups that you do when you're not competing. And so maybe, do you think that helps your body kind of get ready and help you to be familiar? I've been here before, I do this all the time, and just help get you ready to step on the mat and take it a little more seriously than when you're just training?
Yeah, it's a specific routine, and I do I'm kind of I guess a bit OCD with some things. I count how many times I swing my arms back and forward. I have the same movements that I go through, so it's just an automatic routine. And I think it helps to get the mind going. Like, okay, now we're here again, and so yeah.
It sounds like a great way to get your mind and body ready to go to work there. If you have a student that is excited about jiu-jitsu and like a normal jiu-jitsu student, and they're going to compete for the first time, what advice would you give them?
To try to have fun and try to. And I tell that to myself even today. I have to tell myself that I'm here because of course, it's not only fun because it's also my job, of course. But that I'm there because I like to do it, and and I would be doing it for free as well, and paying for it as I have done for a long time as well, and that I'm there because it's fun and I like it, and you have to remind your brain about that because the adrenaline and the nerves, it's normal to get those thoughts that I'm gonna lose, and sometimes it's not even it's I don't know if you can call it a fear really, because it's not something specific, it's just nerves, and I think you just have to let the adrenaline just let it flow through your body and just accept it. If you try to fight it, then it's gonna be worse. So just try to relax and try to have fun, I think would be my advice.
And with the adrenaline, that's just part of the experience. If it would be, it's just part of it. Expect it and deal with it when it gets there. It sounds like.
Yeah.
But having fun is a big part, and that'll. It's important to have fun whether you do well or not, especially at the, if it's your first tournament, to enjoy it. Do you remember what you were like as a blue belt?
Yeah, I would get really nervous. I was really nervous. Actually, my first tournament was in they call it sport jiu-jitsu. That's it's like the traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu. And because I started training back when I was 13, actually, I had seen how it's crazy. But where I lived on the countryside in Denmark, and that was in 2002. And I think the first gym wasn't like BJJ gym was in 2001 or 2002, I think, in Denmark, and it was really far from my house. So I found some place where they did some traditional jiu-jitsu, more wrist locks and self-defense and that kind of stuff. But then they have some, I think it's German actually, the system, they call sport jiu-jitsu or sport jiu-jitsu. Where it's the standing up is like karate, just no contact, not full contact, just I don't know what you call it, semi-contact, and then like a judo fight. When as soon as you grab, then you can punch, and then it's like takedowns on the ground too. So my first competition wasn't that when I was 14, and I remember that I was so consumed, I got so consumed by the adrenaline that I didn't remember anything that had happened, And then my first jiu-jitsu tournament was a no-gi tournament, and with 80cc rules, heel hooks and everything. When I was 15, and back then in Denmark there were no juvenile classes or kids classes, so I just fought with the adults when I was 15, and I ended up winning that tournament, but I just remember I couldn't remember anything about my fights, what happened. But then when I started competing more, and I think it's not only the number of competitions, but even now, if I've been, not so much now, but before, if I would have fight one tournament and I hadn't fought in a long time, I would get really nervous. But then if I would fight again already the next month, then I would be more calm. It's the same actually I feel today as well. Sometimes I fight better on the second day, like the first day and the absolute. Sometimes I have nerves, just like the first few fights, and then I start to relax. And then a lot of times I'll fight better on the second day, because I guess the body loosens up and stuff. But I used to get nervous, and I get nervous as well now. But I just I'm getting better at dealing with it.
It sounds like it. Will you do a smaller tournament before a big one to help get rid of some of the nerves?
Yeah, no, I don't feel like I needed too much anymore. Actually, okay. I'm pretty calm. Like, maybe I'll do it now when I'm coming back from surgery, just to see how I'm feeling. Maybe I'll do a small tournament first, but I'll see. But I think there's never too. It's not like too long between my competitions. Like, they can be like 6 months or a bit more sometimes even, but it's not like too much. So,
a student that you have and it's their first year, what would be like a good goal for them to reach for?
Are we talking about a student who wants to be a competitor, or just like the average student?
Let's just go with the average student who just is finding jiu-jitsu, training 2 or 3 times a week, and
So in the first year, I think just learning the basics, trying to focus on learning the basics and not trying to. I think the first year is too early. You can watch matches and stuff, but you shouldn't be watching too many instructionals and stuff. Actually, I saw that with a lot of people. Like back in Denmark, we didn't have any. We didn't have really a lot of teachers back then when it started, you know. So some people there were some people that would come from Sweden. They started a bit before, and then they would bring guys for seminars and stuff. But then some people would get really caught up in that, like sitting and watching instructional videos. And I don't think that. I think if you already have a good base, then you can get inspired, and you can get you can learn some moves, and you can start practicing it yourself, or get your teachers to help you with the details and stuff. But you're not gonna learn it just from. Because it's not only about learning the techniques and all the details, it's about having someone watching you and seeing if you're doing it right, and explaining what situations you can use it in and stuff. So I'm sorry, I forgot the question. I talked too much.
I love your answer. I think that's a very common mistake for a first year student is to start watching YouTube all the time, and it's not necessarily helpful, because it's like you said, they're not getting the feedback from an instructor when they watch that. They may not have their basics down. They may not, they might be missing lines. So that's really good advice for somebody who's starting with jiu-jitsu, is to just avoid that or that. And it's hard to not watch some jiu-jitsu because it's fun to watch, but that's not your main place to go to learn. It's on the mat. It's with your instructor, right?
I think like seminars, you can learn a lot from. I remember, like, if it's a guy that doesn't just show like random positions, but about the concepts as well. And we were lucky that we had guys like Leo Vieira and guys like that coming and helping us. Like, they would go regularly to Denmark back when I lived there, and do seminars, and that was like really helpful. But like instructionals, I've never been too much of a fan of it. Like, but it's sometimes I see something in a competition, someone doing it, and then you can start maybe working on discussing it. But that's not for a beginner. I think a beginner he can watch them and stuff, but he shouldn't. He shouldn't be like trying to do like berimbolo or inverted guard and stuff like the first year. I think he should get the focus on the basics.
Now, we touched on this a little bit earlier, that you prefer to focus on getting yourself better, opposed to just training to compete against the guys that you're going to meet certain guys in a tournament. They're good, you're good, you're going to end up eventually having a match with them. But you want to focus on getting your jiu-jitsu better. But if one of your competitors has an instructional DVD out, would you watch that and kind of pick up and see and learn from them what they're doing?
No.
Just curious.
I've watched their fights.
Yeah.
Watch their fights, but I'm kind of a nerd myself, like about jiu-jitsu, so I already watch all fights that come out. Like not not only to study. I always do that if I'm going to a tournament and I see, okay, I'm probably going to be fighting this guy. Then I maybe rewatch or watch some matches I haven't seen. But like from the big tournaments, I've already seen most of the matches. So like I really like to watch it, you know. So yeah, but I think it's good as well to have like a strategy, and you can see with some guys, okay, you can't make like a really tight strategy. It's a lot of times it's going to be difficult, but like sometimes I do make a strategy like, okay, and I know this guy does this, so I have to be careful about that, or this guy, he likes he doesn't tap on the foot. It's difficult. Then I won't be going too much for that, or something like just seeing people's weaknesses, and I think that's important as well when you get to like a high level, for sure. I always did that. I would always, even when I was like purple and brown belt, I would like Google all the names of the guys that were in my category, so to kind of see if there was some footage on them or something.
Yeah. Kind of help get you ready mentally, and definitely at that level, you could research and learn about what your competitors' best moves are, and kind of be more ready for that, right?
Exactly.
Do you have any sponsors you want to thank or mention?
Yeah, my sponsor, Tatami Fightwear. That's my main sponsor. And then also my sponsor from Denmark, that they've been with me since I was a purple belt back in 2010. Knockout Sports. So I want to thank them as well. What
do they sell? Knockout Sports.
They sell martial arts gear, like they do for MMA and jiu-jitsu, and I think even they have karate and some stuff. They like general martial arts gear. It's a shop in Denmark, in Copenhagen.
Oh, cool! I'll put links to both those on the website there.
Nice.
How would somebody keep up with you? And hopefully we'll all see that your knee heals perfectly, and then we'll get to watch you as you compete again fairly soon. How would we best keep up with you and what you're up to?
Yeah, you can. I'm on Facebook, Alexander Trans, and on Instagram as well, Alexander Trans. Just at Alexander Trans, and yeah, I'm putting up things about my training and when I'm competing and stuff like that. So if people wanna follow what's happening like in my career, they can check that out.
So we got your Facebook page there and your Instagram. If somebody wants to get you for a seminar, is that possible? Are you able to do that?
Yeah, for sure. You can just write me on my Facebook or on my email. That's alex.bjj.dk@gmail.com. And the rest of the year now, I'm just gonna be focused on doing seminars until I'm able to start training again. But after that, I'll be giving seminars as well. Also, people can schedule in the US as well when I'm going to compete there or anytime. So just if you're interested, you can just write me on Facebook or on my email.
That's perfect. And if you're already in the U.S., you'd be happy to try to make a trip to do a seminar somewhere else, right? Sounds like? Yeah,
for sure. For sure.
Well, cool. Well, that's a great opportunity to bring somebody like you into the gym and have you teach a seminar to the students.
Yeah, it would be a pleasure.
I really appreciate you jumping on here. I wish you well on healing up your knee, and excited to see you back on the mat soon. So thank you for giving us the interview, sir.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Well, first of all, we want to thank Alexander Trans for the interview. I guarantee we're all going to learn something. One thing that really stuck out to me was just how tough he is. He's talking about in the Worlds where he hurt his knee in a great amount of pain, and basically kept going and ended up winning that match. You never know how much damage he did to his knee extra. It's a goal to win, and he just kept going, ignored the pain, and he's just so tough just to keep going. That really, when he was talking about that, it just made me, think about all the pain he must have been in.
Yeah, very. It's the gentle art, and we try to do things smoothly, but sometimes it comes down to just being tougher than the other guy too.
Yeah,
and he definitely can demonstrate that. So it's easy to be a champion when everything goes your way all the time, but when you have to fight through some of that pain, and it really shows that the character and heart.
Yeah, and also I was thinking about it. He said he hurt his knee, but I was thinking about how he talks about how he does a ton of leg locks. He's constantly attacking. He'll go for a sweep just to get the guy to defend the sweep, to base out, and then switch to a leg lock. And, it's kind of, the parallels to that, how he, leg locks, and he ended up with a hurt knee. It's not that I'm saying leg locks hurt knees, but it made me think about when he was talking about the pain he went in, on his knee, and then he was talking about how he loves leg locks, and I'm a leg lock guy. So, that part really, I was really intently listening to that part there.
Yeah, it's so nice of such world-class athletes to come in here and share their knowledge and their stories with us. So
yeah,
we still appreciate that after 99 episodes.
yeah. It's pretty humbling to think that some guy of that talent would take the time to talk to us, or take the time to talk to all of us. I mean, it's not just me and you; it's our listeners, and we all appreciate it so much. He probably doesn't realize that he's making us better in Dubai. He's making everybody who's listening better. So he's definitely taught a lot of people here today. So we really appreciate it.
Gary, we are still in the business of giving out free gi patches to anybody in the United States who writes us a interesting review on iTunes.
How would you go about getting that gi patch there, Byron?
Well, you just get on iTunes there and write us a review. Hopefully we've earned 5 stars. Send us an email at bjjbrick@gmail.com. Let us know you did this, and we'll get with you, get your address, and send one out. Pretty simple. I had a few that were delayed when I was out of the country. I was like, I'll get it to you when I get back, So, but now it's probably will get mailed out in a couple days. We've got a few reviews we could read. So
yeah, let's check those out.
One of these is kind of a little bit longer, but I really enjoyed it. This person started Jiu-Jitsu about a month ago. He listened to every episode. He's now up to episode 93. So that's like a lot of listening in a short amount of time. So I'd really thank you for that. That's crazy that someone would be able to listen to that much of us and still like it. He mentions Gary's taught him a ton about gangs and underwater knife fighting and that sort of thing. And I was laughing at the end of it. Please start doing 2 shows per week. Yeah, that's unlikely.
We'd like to.
And then
we'd lose some training time.
Yeah, he says, if I'm ever in the middle of nowhere or wherever you guys live, I'd be honored to have you choke me out, and I'd even let Gary take a selfie with my wife. That's from
awesome.
Aaron. So
yeah, it seems like a lot of people are mentioning me. We also had another review, and the guy's Camilo, and I can't pronounce the last name there. But Camilo was talking about the great Mr. Jokes, jiu-jitsu knowledge, advice, and great guests. And but I like how he said, can't wait to visit their gym in Kansas. Spaz out rolling with either of them while trying a flying Barambola. And in parentheses, preferably on Gary since he's older. I got a kick out of that one.
We've got one from New Mommy Stew. Great show, definitely helps me with my game. Saw Byron rolling with Gary the other day, and he tapped more times than Danny K.
That's a good one. And it's cool. We got one from Eloise in New Zealand. Love the podcast. As a newbie to the match, I found it super helpful in moving forward with my attitude and progression towards my training partner. Great guests and very witty banter. Must be talking about Byron. Keep up the great work, guys. So thank you all for the reviews.
Yep, very motivating, and we always look forward to getting those. And it seems like we just make it every month. We kind of read out the reviews and what we get, and it kind of is fun to share those with everybody.
Yeah, and we're talking about reviews. You can also write us a little review on social media. We have a Facebook page. You can always go on there and type us out a comment if you want there. So we're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. we don't get Twitter. We're not as smart on Twitter, I guess, as we are on Facebook. But basically, you can contact us either one of those spots. Send us an email at bjjbrick@gmail.com. Or my home phone number is area code 316. I'm just kidding. But but definitely, get in touch with us if you have any comments or concerns or ways to make the show better. Give us a call and let us know.
Yep, always looking to get better.
Also, I know we talked about the Facebook page, but, I've got, kind of like what we talked about today, I've got a question for the audience there if you guys want to put your answers on our Facebook page. But, we were talking about how Byron had traveled to Burma and had trained there. Let us know where you've traveled for vacation and where you've trained at. I think that'd be kind of neat just to see where everybody's trained. It doesn't matter if you just went to the next town. It's always cool to go somewhere different.
Yep, I think it'd be easiest if they just put it on, like, the episode, as the comments there, just say...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Everyone can see it there. Because I think when people post on our Facebook page, it doesn't... most people don't see that. We just see it, and sometimes we don't even find that. I don't know that either, but... we're not the best at social media.
As you guys can probably tell.
But next week's show, we're running 1 week away here, and I do have to edit the show before the week is up. So we're still looking for your stories about how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has helped you off of the mat. So if you're able to contribute a story, please do that earlier in the week rather than later. We'd love to get more audience feedback from this. Just how it's helped you, whether it's giving you more confidence, whether it's helped you, just better health or whatever it may be. If you could kind of share that, some examples, or share a story about how Jiu-Jitsu has helped you. I know Gary and I are working on our story and make it about 5 minutes long or less. The easiest way would be to record a thing with your phone. Your phone has a microphone and a recorder, and you could record that. Go to Quiet Room, record it, and send it to us. Just email us at bjjbrick@gmail.com, and we'll just happy to throw that in, and hopefully we'll have a nice episode of good testimonials about how Jiu-Jitsu helps people. So that'll be a fun one.
Definitely. That's going to be a cool show.
Gary, everyone is anxious to know about your next ebook that's coming out.
Byron, as always, since you are my manager, what is my next ebook that I have coming out? I know I've worked on a ton of these here lately.
You have been, and you've been working on this one. This one's titled Monsters and Bad Guys. Learn from my mistakes when I check under the bed. So, Gary, just give us a little bit of a little preview of this book. It sounds fascinating.
Yeah, Monsters and Bad Guys. Basically, I'm going to tell you about all the mistakes I made, when I would check under the bed. I mean, I've had some horrific mistakes, and I do not want anybody to go into that. But, one of the big ones is when I was a kid, I found a rattlesnake, and I did not want my parents to know I had a rattlesnake. So, as usual, what most kids do, I snuck it into my house, and where do you think I put it? Under my bed.
Boom.
So then at night, I would always check under my bed to make sure there were no monsters or bad guys. I forgot the rattlesnake was there, and I got bit. I do not want that to happen to anybody. So whatever you do not hide a rattlesnake under your bed.
Where did it bite you?
Oh, it just bit me in the face.
That explains some of the thing I was noticed about your face.
You've been wondering what happened to my nose. Why I look like this, and now you know.
A rattlesnake as a child, huh?
Yep. So,
what kind of protective gear do you recommend when you're going to search underneath the bed?
Really, a suit of armor.
Yeah.
I mean, suit of armor is great. I mean, it's very heavy, and I would recommend after you've checked under the bed to take it off, because otherwise it's going to be very hot and clunky trying to sleep in it. But a suit of armor when you're checking under the bed. So, like, I could picture my routine. I go to my room, I go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and get ready. Kind of wash my face, and then right before I go to bed, put on a suit of armor, check underneath the bed, get the all clear, take off the armor. Probably need a shower because I did get sweaty, my friends. The one thing I would also advise after you put on the suit of armor, make sure you have anti-venom ready just in case there is a rattlesnake.
That's quality advice. And I did see a cobra get milked in Thailand while I was there.
Oh, and speaking of a cobra, I do see that a cobra is loose in Orlando, Florida. Somebody's pet cobra got loose.
Oh, man.
Yep. How would you like to live next door to that guy?
I don't know. I think I could just avoid the cobra, hopefully.
Well, it's because you wore a suit of armor and you don't check under your bed. See?
There we go.
This episode, we should make sure everybody in Orlando listens to it.
This could be life-saving information.
Yes.
So, another quality audio book or ebook coming out from Gary there.
It should be a bestseller.
It'll be coming out very soon.
Yes.
So, it's been a fun episode. We were really excited about episode 100. Please share your stories with us, and we'll be happy to share them with the community. We definitely need some more. The sooner the better, though. If you're ever in Wichita, that's in Kansas, that's in the middle of the United States, drop us a line, and we'd be happy to train with you.
And we'll even let you do a flying Barambola on me since I'm older.
It's easier to do it on Gary, that's for sure.
Yeah, us older guys, we break down easier.
Well, as always, stay sweaty, my friends.
And don't forget to shower.
Thank you for listening. I hope you find the time today to roll. After all, the best way to get better at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
So he said, nothing in this world can take the place of perseverance. I think it's persistence. Let me reread that. Nothing in this world can take the